Thumbs up, let's do this. Rain Day Gaming. Okay, just kidding with the Leroy Jenkins reference. However, I do find that hilarious. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Rain Day Gaming featuring our Smite Arena gameplay series where I walk you through every god in Smite up to date and talk about their abilities to be successful in Arena, give you a build about how I find, well, it's not about how, it's just what I find to be most successful for them in this gameplay format, talk about strategies and tips on how to really perfect your game and to take it to that next level. So thanks all for tuning in, and thanks for subscribing, all of my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much. My gratitude runs very deep for all of you who are supporting the channel by just taking two seconds and clicking a red button. No, I'm just kidding. I really do appreciate it, guys. Even though it is a very simple act, it means a lot to me and helps the channel to keep growing, and it's very inspiring, you know, when you're putting your energy out into something and people are responding positively to it. I think that's always an extremely valuable thing. So looks like Loki wants to grab the speed here, and of course today we are playing with Ah Muzen Cab, who is a speed demon here. I really do love his mobility and his ability to just move around and affect other players' mobilities as well. Looks like we're gonna have an early death. Just getting caught out with the Bacchus and the Isis and the Agni is just way too much. Really not much he could have done there except maybe just change his running trajectory. But today, yes, we're looking at Ah Muzen Cab. Now, Ah Muzen Cab is the god of bees. Now look at this guy. He's just a bee. Yeah, that's it. It's not very impressive, but you know, it actually he does turn out to be one of the more I think dangerous hunters in Arena, because for me as a hunter, the role is really about getting in and getting out, doing a lot of damage, making your presence felt, getting those kills, and then getting the safety. Ah Muzen Cab's toolkit allows him to be an extremely aggressive hunter while still having some great opportunities to escape due to the fact that he's got such great mobility. Okay, and we might be able to get Bacchus here. Yes! Yes! Give me that. Will it reach? 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 Nah, it doesn't. Okay, but just a very, very strong character in my opinion. One of my favorite hunters in Arena. So for you guys who haven't played him very often, this is an exciting video, and this is should give you a good reason to go and take a look at him, pick him up, and try him out in your next match. Now, Ah Muzen Cab, like I said, is a very speedy god, like a bee. It works perfectly with his identity and his toolkit. One of the main reasons he's so speedy is because he's got a self-steroid based on these hives. Now you see this yellow area right here. This is the area that I'm affected by the benefit, the steroid of this hive. This hive is going to allow me to get extra healing if I'm near it. It's going to also allow me to get 10% movement speed and a little bit of attack speed at this moment in time. Now, like I said, that's this. Oh, yes. Love it. Now, that's this moment in time. The great thing about this, and it's great as we take a 3-1 lead here in this game, up by about 8 points here. Looks like Willix is actually in not a good place here as well, but she seems to have retracted nicely. The good thing about his hive and the speed is that as that gets up, you can get up to a 50% attack speed increase and a 30% movement speed increase, which is huge, guys. That is a big deal and can be a huge advantage. One of the reasons why I like Ah Muzen Cab so much and why he is so mobile. Now, you talk about his passive. Let's bring up his passive. It's called Bees. What this means is that some of his abilities, think of like Hades' Blight, right? It will trigger something else. That ability will actually create an opportunity for him to interact with some of his other abilities in a different manner. So what Bees does is it applies. There we go. We'll get that. Nice. Still haven't gotten any kills, but definitely been a huge part of the kill process happening here. So what bees will do is be a damaging over time ability. So it will cause damage over time. It'll be a small tick, but what that will actually do is then spread like a virus to anybody else who is in the vicinity of the player affected by bees. So if I was to hit this guy here, and he would then run to his teammates with bees infected. Technically, on the it would say it shows I think it shows bees hovering around him or something like that. Then the people he came near would then get infected by bees as well. Now you can see the damage on that is pretty small. Every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds. I'm not sure where you find it, but you can actually see it. You can actually see the damage occurring, and it'll show up as a little ticking damage here after the swarm hits. And that brings me to his number 2 ability, which is called Swarm. Now Swarm will apply bees to a target. It will also do an initial burst of damage, much like any hunter, like Apollo or whatsoever. Give me that. Oh, didn't get her. Placing my... Yes. That was huge, man. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. I've got some Devourer's gloves, so let me hit this, get my life back a little bit. I think we might be able to get it. Oh man, wasted the ult, but we got her. Okay. Definitely just securing that kill is very important. Let's put our honey down. Slow that interchange. Okay, so you saw a little bit of that in action. Again, very mobile. One of the few characters that can really change the dynamic so quickly, because he can be in a fight and then he can be out very quickly with that extra I believe it's 30% movement speed that he gets on top of that and on top of his boots. So then you talk about Swarm, so it'll do initial burst of damage and then apply bees over time. So it's a little bit of a damaging over time, a little bit of an initial big burst, bam, and you see the 8 ticking over her head. Really not that much damage, but again, if you can, the way I look at it is, if you can hit a bees or a swarm and infect their entire team with bees, that's 5 people. You're doing maybe 50, 40 damage to, right? Which ends up being, you know, decent clip to their entire team. Not huge, not too noticeable, but I mean, it's going to definitely affect, you know, their health totals. And I think the more little times you can have that happen, the more effective you're going to be in general, as far as a team fight, as far as, you know, bringing the other team in, putting them into a position where they feel like they want to retreat or they just don't have enough to compete in the fight. So it looks like they're working really well together right now. It's very hard to pick them off because they're grouping very nicely. I'm running out of mana, which is one thing. Okay, so it looks like we got Bacchus. He's infected, and we got... Alright, we assisted on that as well. Let's handle this. And still no kills, but you know what? I feel good about this. We've got 8 assists, so you can see that's about... it's quite a few assists. And I think this might be the opportunity. And it is. Fantastic. So we're finally on the board here. 1-0-8. Things are going really well for our team. We're up by about 20 points, up by 1 kill, and pretty much even, actually a little bit behind in terms of gold, which is pretty surprising in my opinion. So we've talked about his passive. We've talked about mobility being a key for him. One of the points I want to bring up is that Ah Muzen Cab's mobility goes much farther beyond the fact that he can increase his speed. He can affect the speed of others with his honey, and that is a huge advantage. It's one of those things that's turns into a 4-point swing. If you look at it that way, in basketball, I'm a big sports guy. You talk about, yeah, you miss a layup, but you miss a 3-pointer and they make a layup, or you miss a 3-pointer and they make a 3-pointer. It's called a 6-point switch because you could have been up by 3, but now not only did you make that, they've decreased your lead by 3. It's the same thing. You can increase your speed, but if you decrease their speed with this honey by about 25%, not only that, that 30% increase for you, you're decreasing them by 25%. That's a 55% speed discrepancy that you just did. You basically increased your speed by half, which is huge in this type of a game. So that's very important. Imagine if you have the speed buff with you, which I like to get for him. Very huge. One of the ways I like to use honey is a barrier. So sometimes people will spray it on them. One of the ways you can use it is to not only spray it on them, but to spray it in as like a shield as to where you want to keep a safe zone, much like Hebo's carpet. People aren't going to necessarily walk over Hebo's carpet knowing it's going to slow them. One thing you can do here is kind of maybe spread yourself out like this and keep a little barrier in case you want to retreat, knowing they have to walk through the honey. Might give you an extra second or two to then find a nice safe haven where you can play and get out of here. Now I know I'm getting attacked. It looks like it might be my turn to go, and it surely is. Unfortunately there, but hopefully we can come back and find some there we go, find some solace in the retribution. Now is that gonna hit? Oh damn, nice try, man. Very unlucky. Alright, let's get out here.
An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
Oh, Bacchus, man. So dead. As in, not dead, but I'm not gonna kill him, basically, is what I meant. Ooh. Wow, or maybe I was saying that I was so dead. Maybe I was just seeing the future. Jeez Louise. Did not have a lot of great support there. But again, I realized that wasn't a good fight. Especially because I don't have something like chin size, which on a tankier guy is going to basically not be an advantage. Now this build is a typical hunter build. This is something that you'd find just on a standard gameplay. I like to go chin size for a lot of my hunters, but you know what? For Ah Muzen Cab, I've opted to go with the Executioner. It's a little bit cheaper. It allows you to go ahead and get your damage out a little bit faster. If you want chin size, it's fine. The only issue with that, confess it I must, is that you have a much longer time before your damage spikes. Now theoretically, and you know, it's a bigger spike, but the issue is that it does take a while for you to get going. Excellent. I think we could do something here. Let's see what we can do. Let's get that out of the way. And now finally onto his onto the second component of the honey. The honey will apply bees if it is in range of this yellow area. So you look at applying bees with the honey. If you were to start your honey right here, it would not work, okay? It would not apply bees. But if you were to start it from here and then go, there you could see the bees flying on the carpet of honey right there. That is how that works. I don't want to spend too much time with Bacchus just because I'm not going to get much done with him. Ooh.
Minions have reached your portal.
Give me that ass. Alright, let me get back in here. We're in a decent position here. Grab the next Deathbringer, come back. Let's slow him down. No way. Thank you. Damn, that Bacchus was really annoying. Okay, so now let's talk about his ultimate, which I think is a very key component to Muzen Cab and really highlighting his performance. His ultimate is unlike any other ultimate in the game, and I don't say that lightly. I say it with extreme importance at the power that you have if you're able to harness this ability's effect consistently. Now what it is it's a 15-second ultimate essentially if you are able to land it and land it at the opportune time. So for instance, oh man, I just really screwed that up. I did it too late. Get out of my way, dog. Get out of my way, dog. I'll be coming back to try to kill you. Yes. Give me that. Let's go. Come on now. Let's go ahead. I think we're going to get not finish rage, but...
Minions have reached your portal.
Now the other thing, if you apply honey and then you throw your hive up afterwards, it will apply bees. But just remember your honey disappears. So if that's the sole purpose you're going to put your hive there, probably not the best use of resources. You'd rather put a hive somewhere where you know it's not going to get destroyed too quickly. That way you're not just wasting your mana throwing hives down for no reason. Though I like to make sure, you know, since they don't really cost too much mana, 60 mana, you know, once you get to a higher position in mana, you know, you could throw them down more frequently. It's really not going to be the end all be all. But if you want to be, you know, really careful, you're going to be a pro, you're going to start, you know, playing a lot at a higher level, you're going to really have to be aware of your mana costs and all of that. Looks like... Give me that ass.
Minions have reached your portal.
No damage. Okay. Now, so the mechanic of his ultimate is that if you hit the ultimate in the right time, which is basically right before someone's going to die. So I just threw it on her. Okay. There we go. I love that. Alright, let's get back out. Now, excuse me. Actually, excuse me for that, because that is actually a miscommunication. It is not right before they're going to die. Basically, you shoot the ultimate, okay? When you shoot it, it lands on them. It cripples them for 3 seconds. After that, it falls out. Okay, it falls out for another 3 seconds. Now, the thing is, if you can... Actually, 4 seconds. If you can pick it up within those 4 seconds after you've shot it on them, and it's landed with them for 3 seconds, and then it's fallen out, if you can pick it up in that 4-second period, you will then get your ultimate back off cooldown within 15 seconds. Incredible for that to be the case, because what it does is it means that if you consistently land your ultimate and hit it, which it's not the easiest ultimate to hit, it's got a bit of a delay, but if you do so and you're able to be around it enough so either the person dies or you're able to pick it up somehow because they're in a good position in the fight where you can still advance that far and be okay, then you will consistently have your ultimate up for every 15 seconds. Now, you look at 595 plus 220 damage, pretty insane for that. Now, of course, it's his stinger. A lot of people understand. I don't know if it's a myth, but the fact that if a bee loses its stinger, it will just die. I don't think it's a myth. I think some bees pretend, you know, maybe it's, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I think I've heard that it was, I've always thought that to be true, and then I heard it was a myth for a second, so now I'm like second guessing myself. But anyways, if he picks up his stinger, good stuff happens. So always try and put yourself in a position to pick up your stinger. I like to do it right before I think someone's going to die. Didn't end up working for me. A lot of group damage there, and I ended up getting stunned before I was able to properly aim my my ultimate. Man, I do not like this agony. That's what I do to people I don't like. Okay, just one stun. Just one stun. Now, the other thing I'll mention about this build that's very nice, especially in arena, is that so often we're put in positions where... Give me that. Let's go. We're put in positions where we really need to go in and out of fights, especially as a hunter, you know, and a squishier character. Whether your life total, one little thing happens with your life total and you're in a pretty bad position. One of the things that's really great about having... Oh, give me that. Let's go. One thing that's really great about the Devourer's gloves is that you get put in a position where you can then build back your life very, very quickly. So you don't have to take a trip back to the base before you come back and affect the fight. So that creates a lot of really good sustainability and consistency to really be able to get more damage, affect the team, and affect the game in a positive manner, which is what it's all about. Guys, this is a great game. It started off a little Interestingly, got a couple deaths early on, but then picked up with some nice kills. Ended 5-2, which is a pretty solid score. You want to stay in that 2-to-1 death ratio as a hunter if you can. And it looks like their team did okay. They had Isis, and their mages seemed to do pretty well, although their hunters and assassins didn't really seem to do too hot there, unfortunately. 20,000 damage, not bad. Hebo obviously blowing us out of the water, but looks like we came about 4th in the entire game, next to mages and OP Bacchus and stuff like that. But I think it was a really good kind of exploration of Ah Muzen Cab, and I think what he brings to the table. If I'm going to talk about this god in a tier situation, I'm going to say that he is probably one of my favorite gods in Arena. Forget tiers, I'm looking at the fact that I really enjoy playing him. Now, tier-wise, I think he is right below top tier. I think he, as an individual player, is very fantastic. Of course, the big part of Arena and these team fights is having an ultimate that really affects the team in a big way. Of course, an individual can be very successful with this type of ultimate that he has, that it can kind of be up every 15 seconds and do a lot of damage, get a lot of kills. The things go right in a different game. I could be 7 or 8-2 right now in terms of my kill death ratio, but I ended up getting a lot of assists instead of that. So I think it keeps them a little bit under top tier as some of the hunters. That kind of the way I feel about On Her as well. But you know what? I think that he's still one of my most fun gods to play because he just gives me that ability to be aggressive, go in there with a fight, knowing I got an extra 50% movement speed. If I have the movement speed buff, I've got 20-30% from that. I'm really having a blast with this god, and I think he's one of the best ones to pick up and play if you haven't as a hunter right now. And of course, Hu Yi just came out, and I'm looking forward to doing a video on him, so stay tuned for that shortly, and all the other god guide videos that are gonna be coming up. As I said, this build, very cookie cutter. What we would go ahead and do is finish with a Titan's Bane usually. And you can experiment with that item. You can also experiment with putting in chin size instead of the Executioner right there to help bring out a little bit more damage, but also remember you're giving up damage early on so that you can get a bigger damage spike later. Just depends what your preference is. Let me know how it is, guys. I'd love to get your thoughts on the build, your thoughts on Ah Muzen Cab in the comments section below. And thanks again, I know I mentioned it before, for all of the new subscribers who have yet to seen a video come out. I'm happy that I put this out, and there's more to come. Don't you guys worry. Stay tuned. This is definitely gonna keep happening. So we're excited to be taking Rain Day Gaming into a higher, newer direction in this new year, and looking forward to everything we're going to be able to provide for all the fans, all the people who love games and Smite and stuff like we do. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm Rain Day. If you like the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more videos that are coming out soon. As always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.